Ew, look who it is. It's a bunch of whiteys. Disgusting. Boo, we don't like them. Double thumbs down for all the whiteys. You guys have privilege and you've done something wrong. Aw, shucks. I'm white. I must have not been aware of my privilege. I should go turn myself in. I can't rock with this anymore. I'm gonna have to turn myself in. I'll see you guys. That's probably it for this video. I'm gonna go turn myself in for being white. Anyway, one thing I cannot stand is this hyperfixation our society has on skin color and race. It's into movies, movie critics. There's sometimes movies have too many white people, and that's bad because we can't tell a genuine story. Even if it's about history, it doesn't matter. Or executives at companies, they have to have a quota of certain races. Now, I'm not going to get super political or get into this because I'm not racist. I'm not interested in what skin color you are. I'm interested, just like what Martin Luther King said, the contents of your character, who you are. Okay? So I have nothing against anyone. I'm simply making an observation of the world. If you want to understand what I'm saying, you will. If you don't want to understand what I'm saying right now, you won't, and you're going to call me offensive or something. That's on you. I'm not responsible for your feelings. I'm probably taking the most unifying stance I can. I am saying I don't care about skin color or race. I care about you as a person. And apparently just existing as a white person is like being the fucking boogeyman. Oh no, I'm white. I have privilege. I'm radiating oppression on everybody. You guys want some oppression? Here you go. Watch this. I just gave my neighbors oppression. Don't know if they're white or not. If they're white, they are now double white. They're extra whiteys. The reason why I'm saying this, you can see from the thumbnail, is Valkyrae recently made a statement about QTcinderella. Now, I am aware of Twitch. Obviously, I'm very aware of internet culture, of YouTubers. I don't know much about these people. I really don't, but I know enough. Now, keep in mind they are friends. It's not like they hate each other or anything, or they have some kind of beef. But it's a statement she made, and this says a lot about our society because this kind of stuff happens all the time. For no reason, race is brought into things and white privilege comes up just for existing, for doing nothing. This is the post right here, and I'll read it off for you guys. It says, there is nothing wrong with having conversation with friends and helping them understand where their privilege comes from in regards to situations they may not have personally experienced that others suffer from. And lots of privilege obviously comes from being white. Never thought I'd be accused for being racist against white people when the clip is clearly out of context. And blah, blah, blah. We don't care about this, right? I have nothing against her, by the way. She seems really cool. It's just this statement I'm not a fan of. Does that make sense? I saw this on X, by the way, and this tweet stemmed from this right here. This is what she originally said, and she got some flack about it. Warranted. So I'm going to show you guys this.
I did tell her, I was like, cutie, I do think your tone doesn't help because you inherently sound really angry all the time. You sound really, and she knows. I was like, you're very blunt. I think it's your tone, you're blunt, and it just comes off poorly, especially, you know, and I was like, you're also the whitest woman I know. And it also is just, you know, you being so white, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. But I know her. I know her heart. It's just because she wants to help. But I feel like there's ways we can do it better.
That is the clip, and I'll show you what QTcinderella said in a second. We'll get to that. But I want to comment on this because it's the same thing. It's just here we go again with the race, the white privilege. And keep in mind, this was not like some controversial statement QTcinderella said. She was literally replying or defending herself, hanging around people. She didn't do anything. There was no out-of-pocket comment, no out-of-pocket actions, nothing. She is just called out for having white privilege for existing around certain people. We'll get to that in a second. Hold your horses. And she also said, I love when people say this. She said QTcinderella is the whitest person she knows. Now, I will say this much. I don't give a shit. You can say it all you want. I'm not offended by any of this. You can make jokes about white people around me. I don't care. They're just jokes, right? Comedy's dead because people get offended by everything. However, if the roles were reversed, that would be called racist. To say that white people have privilege and then simultaneously saying things like you're the whitest person I know and all this kind of stuff is kind of crazy, because I think that shows that it's not like white people have the privilege for everything. There is a privilege against white people to say things about them that you can't about any other race. I think that's ridiculous. I think we should treat everyone equally regardless of race. And by the way, go try saying that to a poor white community. Do they have privilege? I don't think they do. I think most of it is economic class. There's different types of privilege. Again, I'm not fully fleshing out my political opinions. I'm not saying that's the economic privilege is the only privilege that exists. If you use your common sense, you'll understand what I'm saying. Just take it at face value. I'm not trying to have a deep political conversation. I'm just saying as it is. There is economic privilege in this country, which is the number one privilege. And then, of course, in a very condescending attitude, and keep in mind, I have nothing against her. She seems very nice. It's just her statement. That's all it is. She was saying that, oh, we could have said that better. What are you going to do? Fucking assemble an anti-racist Avengers to make like perfect little statements that walk on eggshells to use the correct terminology, the little politically correct way to say things? Perhaps, maybe, I'm a little bit offended that you said white people. Why couldn't you have said people without color? I would have really preferred you said, you know what? She is the most people of no color that I've ever met. Because that's what we should do. We should keep it consistent, right? It's just, I'm only saying this because she's using like white privilege, saying things about white people, and she's using language that she would not use while talking about other races. So I just think the whole thing is stupid. Let's just treat everyone as individuals. Can we stop with the whole race thing? Everything's about fucking race. I do want to point out one more thing, is that people like this, at least who think this way, will also say things, which she did say in the video, referring to QTcinderella, you're the whitest person I know. You could not say that about any other race. You would be canceled instantly, like thrown off the air. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's ridiculous. You're saying that kind of thing, language that you can use while talking about white people, but cannot use, God forbid, use it against another race. So it's a little stupid that you're talking about white privilege, and you also have the privilege to talk about white people a unique way and not a good way that you cannot about other races. Can we all just agree to stop with the whole race thing? We're done with it. Nobody cares. Let's just treat everyone as people. It really is that simple. I want to show you the clip that this all came from QTcinderella.
This is my perfect example. It's like, okay, I collab with Lacey. Lacey makes some homophobic jokes sometimes that I am not comfortable with the homophobic jokes Lacey has made. Lacey knows that he can't make those jokes around me. That does not mean that I am homophobic. Believe it or not, everybody.
Yes.
Like, you are not who you associate with. Like, shut the fuck up. You're like, you don't build bridges by burning them. That's not how it works.
Oh my gosh. Guys, she's so racist. I can't believe she interacted with someone who made jokes about people. Ooh, so bad. Where's Lacey? By the way, part of FaZe. We need to go find him and arrest him because he's really bad. And that must mean she's racist. Makes no sense, first of all. Let's first assume that Lacey is a racist. It takes a lot to be a racist. It takes saying things, not jokes, but saying legitimate things that are racist, and also taking action against it. I don't think he's racist, okay? He's not. Get over it. That's just the reality of it. Now, if he comes out and says something very racist or does something, I'll agree with you guys, but there's no evidence that he is. And, by the way, just because he has said, just for a second, let's just assume that he is, okay? For a second, just assume that he is and she hangs around him. I have friends who are alcoholics. I do not drink like that. Every once in a while, yes, sometimes. But I'm not an alcoholic. Just because I hang around my friends who I consider to be alcoholics doesn't make me an alcoholic. Okay? If I go out in public, if you are a different skin color than me and you're talking to me, you're not going to magically become fucking white. Okay? Maybe that's how we solve the white privilege, is with this logic. If you hang around people who make racist jokes or you think are racist, that means you're a racist. So why don't I go around fucking Charlotte, North Carolina, fucking whitenize everything? Then there's no white privilege. Or, you know what? Let's just create a new skin color. I feel like people are going to take this clip out of context. Let's just take a new skin color so we're all on an evil playing field. Maybe like fucking purple. I'll be the first purple skin colored human being. I'm going to go out, and if you talk to me, you'll become purple too, because that's like, that makes sense, right? Like, are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Because clearly this shit makes no sense. No fucking sense. It's so stupid. You could like the person and say, hey, you know what? I really disagree with this. I hope you change your opinion on this, your worldview on this, but I'm not going to hate you or stop hanging around you. You're just, you're human, right? But no, it's people's interpretations. If they interpret someone's racist, then they absolutely are racist. It's so stupid. Lacey is not racist. He's made jokes, and they're just jokes. I'm defending him because calling someone racist is a pretty serious thing to say. And by the way, everybody watching this video has made racist jokes. It doesn't matter against what race or your own race. Does not matter. Everyone, actually put race aside, everyone has made offensive jokes before. In high school, everybody made the most edgy offensive jokes. I did. If that stuff came out just like everybody else in the world, I'd be canceled. Everyone would. That's why I don't consider things that people said before they're 18 or just when they're younger. Who cares? That's a part of growing up. You say stupid, offensive things. Yeah, maybe sometimes what Lace, I'm not even sure what he said. Maybe some of the stuff he says is pretty offensive. I don't know. I also don't care if they're jokes. I care about someone's actual character. If they're racist, that is not good. I do not like racism. I absolutely do not support it. But if someone's perceived as racist just because someone hates a joke they made or something, that's ridiculous. That's called lying. That's just not true. And I'm not interested in things that are not true. I'm interested in what is true. And take a look at this. This was a post on X. Someone said, QT, when your boyfriend Ludwig, who is another streamer, has a gay card and was at TwitchCon making fun of queer people, and when your new bestie from FaZe that you are obsessed with are homophobic and transphobic on the daily, what do you expect us to think about when you're actively associated with them? This was the same thing I was just saying. It makes no sense, and just because you perceive someone as transphobic, homophobic, phobic this, phobic that, it's so, like, can we stop with the whole phobic thing and call I guess it's ridiculous. Okay, people make jokes. Sometimes people make comments that they don't fully think through and come across as offensive, but in their mind it wasn't. Maybe they did say things that are offensive that I or you disagree with. Okay, we're all people. Everyone has made jokes, offensive jokes. Everyone has said things they don't mean. Everyone has said bad things before that are genuinely offensive. Can we stop giving people all these phobic labels and thinking like they're the devil and everything? Look, I recognize there are people that are genuinely hateful, that genuinely are racist. I cannot stand those people. I think everyone agrees with that. I just think you have to be very, very careful about who you call racist, homophobic, transphobic, because if you call everybody that says something you don't like those things, then it loses its meaning. Okay, so let's just be a little more careful on who we are giving all these little phobic terms to. Like, is that reasonable? This is probably the most uncontroversial thing I could say, and the sad part is some people would think what I'm saying is controversial. It's not. All right. I saw this clip, and this is not at TwitchCon. This is Ludwig, by the way, the person that is dating QTcinderella, I believe, or that was referenced. And this is a clip of him making a gay joke. Not at TwitchCon, so this is different, but it's important to understand somebody's tone. So I want you guys to hear this.
This shitty ass game. This is for gay people everywhere.
So, people found that offensive. I don't. I'm sure most gay people really didn't give a shit that he said that. And it's one of those things that I think if you want to be offended by things, you'll take things like this and be offended by it. And again, I'm going to say this for the millionth time. I do not support racism. I don't support any kind of bigotry. And I mean legitimate bigotry. And why I say legitimate is because so many people in today's society call people bigots or fascist when they just have a different opinion. And by the way, it's a real thing and it's very common. The media wants to divide us. People are not as divided as you would think. People can have two separate conclusions on the same issue. Their hearts are in a good place, but they see it differently. Perhaps one of them values a certain subtlety to the issue, and this person favors another subtlety. And that's what makes them have different opinions on the same issue while their heart is in a good place, while having good intentions. So let's not just pretend that just because you interpret someone as a bigot or racist or homophobic, it doesn't make them that. Okay? I don't think he is. I don't think there's any evidence of him legitimately hating people because they are gay. Making jokes and being hateful are two different things. This is not me defending people who are legitimately racist. This is not me defending people who are bigots. We're all on the same page. Again, if you want to understand what I'm saying, you will understand. It's really that simple. There needs to be evidence. Okay? Jokes or stupid offensive jokes, that does not count. I have made very offensive jokes, especially when I was younger, because that was like cool to be edgy in high school. Everybody has. Everyone's guilty of it. So let's just move past it and stop with all this bullshit, okay? You don't have white privilege for existing. You're not homophobic because you made one little gay joke that really didn't have any negative connotation. So let's just relax. Relax on the phobics. Relax on the white privilege. Let's just be people. Is this making sense? Hope it is. If you say yes, cool beans. That's all I have for you guys today. That hopefully didn't get too political. Anyway, what does the world come to, guys?